Hello, Argo parents. Some of you were not able to come to our uh, parent ed education class the other night, and there were several requests wondering if the presentation would be available. So, unfortunately, I had a little bit of a technical issue and didn't record the other night, but I am going to go through an abbreviated version of what we shared on Thursday night. So tonight is the first in a series of, or whenever you're watching this, this is the first in a series of parent education classes designed to help you maneuver through online and hybrid learning. As you probably have been able to figure out, when we go to hybrid, we're not going to do away with distance learning. In fact, we're going to emphasize it even a little more um, based on the schedule. So I thank you for taking the time to take a look at this information. So um, just as a recap, if you recall, in spring we went on distance learning kind of in a frenzy. We went from a Friday announcement to beginning classes on Tuesday, which really gave teachers only a 1 day of preparation before they went on to distance learning. So that certainly was not a perfect plan. And that is why we did something different going into this fall, because we had more time to prepare. So we were able to create a virtual environment which mirrors in-person learning. So you are, I'm sure, well aware of the schedule right now that students go to class every day from 8 o'clock to 12:30, and then there's lunch, and then after lunch there is what we call Argo Academics, which we'll talk about more. So our goal was to give some structure to online school. Teachers are utilizing either Zoom or Google Meet to hold these lessons, and so the schedule basically is 3 classes a day for 80 minutes, and that says minute, but that's my bad. Um, on Tuesday through Friday, and then our Monday schedule is our collaboration schedule. Um, that we have all 6 classes for a shorter period of time, and then also on our Tuesday through um, Friday, we have what we call Argo Academics. And that is an opportunity for students to go back to the classes that they were in earlier in the day and get some extra help or support as needed. So that's the structure of what we put together, so that um, students were able to more effectively access their lessons. Um, so, how can you help? So one of the things that I think is really important that I like to emphasize is that this is what school is. And online learning is a legitimate way of learning. I shared with the group on Thursday night that I was in a doctoral program for 4 years that was completely online. So it can be rigorous and it can be effective. And so I think we have to change our mindset some so that we are not downplaying the benefits of online learning. It is effective and engaging. And the more we see it as normal, the more normal it will be. And that really helps students to feel safe and confident in what they're doing. If we keep saying this is not regular, this is not normal, this is not the way it's going to be, then students can't fully wrap themselves around it. So that's the first thing, is like that mindset change. The second thing is just really listen um, to your students, hear their frustrations, and then seek solutions together. And we'll talk about some of those ways that we can make online learning more effective. Like us adults, students have been bombarded with a lot of things in the last, 5, 6, 7 months. Obviously, COVID is a concern. There is social equality issues that are a concern. both of which are causing fear and apprehension and a sense of a loss of normalcy, which brings me back to why it's important to really look at why online learning it is the way that we are learning instead of something different or something that is temporary. Because we'll talk in some more details. I'll talk in some more detail. It's not really temporary. The next thing I really would like to encourage parents to do is learn the platforms your students are going to use. So, like I said, this is a first in a series. October 14th, we'll have the next class, and it will be all around the platforms that we are using, in particular Google Classroom and uh, Google products, docs, slides, sheets, and just to show and illustrate how students are accessing information. This is really important because when students have questions or frustrations, this will give you a chance to really sympathize. But as we are planning for this particular class, you'll have some empathy because we'll have you sign up to a Google Classroom and access information as well. And I do this all the time. I get ahead of myself. We are using Google, the platforms primarily in Google Classroom, right, as how we're accessing through Zoom and Meet for students. Um, so the other thing is to have a plan. What space can students use? This is really important. And I know this is going to vary from home to home, and it might be easier or more difficult on where you are, but it's important for students to have some consistency. When they go to school in person, they go to set classes at set times every day. And we've set the courses, the schedule in terms of time, but at home, you are going to have to help provide some kind of consistent space, right? A bedroom, kitchen, living room, backyard, porch, something that they can access every day so that they know this is school time and that's different than other times. So even right now, I have a space, right? I'm working from home because of COVID. And so I make sure that I have a space to work from. Now, that workspace happens to be in my bedroom. My wife is in another part of the house. She's working from home also. So we had to spread out. I actually have a desk that I move when I'm not working. I move to, against the wall so that I can differentiate when I'm working and when I am just relaxing it at home. And so students need to have that too. So at least, even if it's in the same place that they're doing other things, that there is somewhere for them to sit with their Chromebook and know that these are the 3 hours, 3.5 hours that are dedicated to school. Students need device and access. So we have done the very best that we can to make sure that all students have a Chromebook. That Chromebook is going to be really necessary when we do return to a hybrid schedule because students are going to need that to access the internet at school. But if you're still having difficulty with a device, with access, you can call the school office. And we do have some support and help. While you're in distance learning, you can use that Chromebook, use a personal laptop or a desktop. But when we return, you will have to use the Chromebook because that's the only way you can get onto the internet at school. Um, and again, we do have hotspots available. So if you're having internet difficulties, please call us. And you need to have a schedule. It's part of this routine. So along with class schedule, along with a place to be, you need to have some kind of study schedule. Argo Academics is a great a part that's of our schedule that's embedded, but you still might need to have an hour, let's say, of study afterwards. So you need to schedule for the whole school day, plus some time to finish and complete work after school. And these are good ways that you can have conversations and talk about real things that can help. And then it's important for you to know your student's schedule. That's why I'm going over it like I am, because you are not going to be able to help your student unless you really know the schedule yourself. And we have it on our website. We can always access, today's Wednesday, what would the schedule be? And that way you can check up and make sure that your student is progressing properly. And to check progress, we're still using Aries. And it's a little different because all the Aries classrooms are connected to the Google Classroom. But if you just click on the actual course, you can see a list of assignments and tests, scores, what's missing, what's been completed. And so I would look at that a couple of times a week, at least. I went over this, that we have Chromebooks that are available. The school and the district have done, uh, we've done our very best to provide for you the resources that you need for your student to be successful. And I can't emphasize enough that if you have any issue with that Chromebook, or you haven't had a Chromebook yet, or you have an internet issues, please call so that we can help you. Our counselors are still working every day and available. They're available by phone. They can set up video conferences. And of course, email is always a great way to start that process. Um, the assistant principals are the same. We're available by phone or video conference and email. And we're just here to help you. Counselors and assistant principals, as always, we enjoy interacting, enjoy having video conferences, and kind of walking you through how you can best support your student, look at particular difficulties and challenges that you might be facing. We also have a social work program at school called Aspire, and we still have that available even though we're distance. They're available to do different video conferencing, and phone. So this would be a layer. So your school counselor would be someone that your student would contact, you would contact for questions about coursework, class assignments, study skills. Maybe just a student might be feeling a little discombobulated, or maybe a little down in the dumps, disconnected from their friends and from regular the life that they're used to. The social work program is for students that might be experiencing something a little more and beyond what our school counselors would work with. And so, if that is an issue, if you're worried about a more serious kind of depression, or if you're worried about your student hurting themselves, or if you've seen some significant change in personality. We do a lot of referring from the counselor's office to the social work office, but you could also call the counselor and say, I think my son or daughter needs some more intense kind of regular uh, counseling. Um, the school here at Garden Grove and the district, we're really committed to making sure that we provide for ongoing academic and social, emotional, and technological support. So, like I said, we're just here to help and support you, and we want you to let us know what is going on. Um, that's some of the foundational part of the presentation from the other night. I'll talk about some questions that came up, but just to announce that back to school night is October 7th. That's this Wednesday, and teachers we'll have a website that we'll send out to Parent Square. It will go live on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Teachers will be sitting by their computers for email, and they will respond live from 5:30 to 6:30. That would be if you have questions about anything that the teachers presented. So you'll be able to click on a teacher presentation. They'll talk about grading. They'll talk about expectations for the class. They'll talk about how to contact them. If you have questions about those things, you can email them, and they'll email you back quickly. If you have some deeper concern, like you need a parent conference, or you notice that your student is struggling a little more, you can send that email during this time or anytime. That will be not necessarily an immediate response, because that'll need some more a conversation, a phone call, and set some things up. But we'll be here. Um, we also just if you are a student of a English learner, we have the ELAC, which is the committee. It's an English Language Advisory Committee here at school. So if you're interested, if you could call or respond to this, will be in a Parent Square. You can respond to Parent Square. and you'd like to be on that committee, you will learn what we do, and oversee kind of the English language learning process and advise the administration. The district has a DLAC, which is the district level of that. So we have some one or two or more representatives from our site committee, and they generally go to the district meeting and they come back and inform parents at our site meetings. We received a parent square about school site council, and that is a committee mostly of teachers, but teachers, parents, and students. So school site council is a really important committee because it is in that committee. The committee approves all of the funding for school. So the school has a plan, and then in order to purchase things, it has to the plan has to kind of coincide with those purchases. So if you should have received that parent square. If you're interested, just respond to that parent square by Mr. Nurk. If For the future, we have 3 more classes that we'll conduct. October 14, we'll have Google Platforms and Products. And then on October 28, we have a hybrid questions. We'll talk all about a hybrid schedule. And then on November 5th, we'll talk about progress so far looking at reopening. So as of today, this is Monday, October 5th, we don't have a return date currently. So that there was a lot of questions about that when we met on Thursday night. And of course, with hybrid, and one of the things I want to emphasize with hybrid is there is a schedule that was emailed out to you when we thought we were going to return October 12th. But you'll notice, we can only have half the students on campus at one time. So we have 2 groups, a group A and a group B, or cohorts A and B. And so the schedule will look very much like it does now. And that Monday will be online, all 6 classes. And Tuesday, group A will come to school for classes 1 through 3. Wednesday, group B will come 1 through 3. And then Thursday, we'll do 4, 5, and 6 for group A, and Friday, 4, 5, 6 for group B. So this will limit the amount of time, so to speak, in that now your students have 3 days, right? They have Monday and then 2 other days that they're accessing. This would be on hybrid Monday, and then they'll see each of their teachers once for each period. So our distance learning plan will in terms of the platforms that we use, online resources, those are still going to be really important aspects. And so that's why that's really important to understand and know those products so that you can be of assistance to your students. Other questions, most of our questions right now only have other questions, right? We're confined to the results of our community spread as a county, and what I am very sure of and feel comfortable of, and shared this on Thursday, that the reality that our board chose to delay our reopening based on some of those safety issues really supports my understanding that the board is looking out for the welfare and safety of both students and staff. And I will tell you that a real focal point of what we're doing right now is getting things ready at school. So we have our hand washing stations, hand sanitizing stations that are being installed, plexiglass for teachers in the classrooms, all the cleaning supplies. We are having, increasing our custodial work. We're making sure that we have our health office is prepared and ready to receive students that might be sick, and at the same time treat students that just need like their medicines dispensed, dispensed, and students that need band-aids and things of that nature. So we're really actively preparing for students and teachers to return safely. And I know that by the time the board decides that we're ready to open, we'll have checked all those boxes that we are ready. But all of this is predicated on a reducing of COVID in our county and our in our city or those cities that are in our vicinity. So we'll take very careful look at that as well, the district leadership will, along with the board. And as soon as there is a date, then we will obviously you'll be informed, and we'll talk about what that process will be like. There was also a question about giving students some indication of what school is going to be like. And I'll say, first of all, school is going to be different when we're back in person. So the thing that we long for with school that's the thing that's going to be different. We've already really addressed academic rigor and instruction with online. That is going to continue again, hybrid when we're both in person and continuing online. But students are basically going to come to school. They're going to be in their classrooms for the time period. We'll work on some way for students to leave class and go to the next class. But the social part of school will be very different. Students will all have to wear masks. Teachers will all be wearing masks. We're still not going to be able to gather in groups. Students are going to have to be in their seat in class. They're going to use their Chromebooks to access and turn in assignments. So it will be different, and that's what we'll share with you. And I know I talked to Mr. On Friday, and we'll prepare some kind of video to show kind of the path of travel, where the hand washing stations are, what classrooms are going to look like, and protocols for entering and exiting classrooms. So this all will be new information when we get it, but trust assured that we are working on all of this while we're in distance learning, and we'll continue working on it because the safety and health of everyone involved is of paramount importance, and we want to make sure that we can stay open, and move into more of what we are accustomed to in terms of school. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that this has given you some tips and some strategies and some information. I encourage you to join us on October 14 for our live presentation. I think I have a better handle on remembering. I think I actually set it to automatically record so that I can share that session with you with the questions as they were asked. So. We'll see you also October 7th. That's just day after tomorrow. You'll just click on the link below for back to school night. Like I said, that'll be live at 4 o'clock, and teachers will start responding to your emails live at 5:30 for an hour until 6:30. So thank you for taking the time to watch. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always call the school office, and they can direct you to one of the assistant principals or the principal, or counselor, whomever you need to speak with. Oftentimes, the folk in the front office will be able to help you with questions about devices and hotspots and things of that nature. So, again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon.